Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to a brand new week. I hope it has been an amazing week for you guys so far. It has been a very eventful past couple of weeks for me. Things have been moving very, very quickly. Spirit has been like hounding on all of these amazing things that they want me to do for the temple, but I feel like I can't keep up and I can't catch my breath. It's an amazing place to be, but it can be very tiring. So if you're there also, please make sure you're taking care of yourself and don't let Spirit bully you into doing more than you can handle for that day. Spirit can be a bully sometimes, especially angels. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry, especially the angels. The angels can be a bully sometimes. Don't let Spirit bully you into doing more than you can handle. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take a break. In case you guys saw, this is just KT tape. It's not like a bandage or anything, so nobody freak out. We're just trying to hold my shoulders in place where they go, trying something new. But I love KT tape. It's a lifesaver. But that's all that is. It's nothing to worry about. One last thing before we jump into what we're going to talk about today. If you guys haven't heard, there is going to be a second Sacred Spaces conference in September 26, 2024, this September, guys. Tickets are available now. And of course, yours truly is going to be there along with all of the originals, I think, from the first one and so many more amazing speakers and hosts and everything this time. There is this a la carte experience that they are doing that is offering opportunities for us to go and interact with so many different people of so many different paths, so many different experiences that I am so excited to be in the same space as so many people at the same time. The amount of growth and understanding and community that we gained from the first one was phenomenal, and we're only going up from there. So get your tickets now. Go to sacredspacesgathering.com. Check everything out. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited, guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but when I'm deciding like what I'm going to talk about each week, more often than not, especially right now, I go to Spirit and I'm like, hey, Spirit, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to talk about? Like, what's the vibe? What do we need? So today, Spirit said, I know exactly what we need to talk about. I know exactly what we need. And they have been calling it simply, quote unquote, why do we do that? And like with most things with Spirit, all of these lessons come in stages. So, for example, when we are first kind of like stepping into that exploration of spiritual things, Spirit gets us used to the idea of like, hey, you have spirit guides and like you have an intuition and like maybe there's beings out there that we can't see, right? Beginner stage, early exploration. And it can go all the way into these like highly specialized classes of kind of what we're studying with Spirit, like the energy, the gods, the beings, like how it works. Maybe we're studying tarot, maybe we're studying other divination, right? So there's a lot of stages that are in this kind of path that we're going to start today. And this lesson, this concept of why do we do that goes right along with this but why question that I have been talking about for a while. So if you've already started your path of this like but why, this like but why do I do that? But why do I believe that? But why do I think that? If you've already started that but why path, that's phenomenal. Keep doing what you're doing and just kind of pull from this video what you need. But if you have not yet started this path, we're going to start here and we're going to break it down, and I'm going to have journal prompts for you, and it's going to be a whole thing. So buckle up and get ready. We're going to start off really simple, really basic, because this path that we're starting, this foundation that we're building, can lead into some really deep shadow work. And if you've been doing that but why question for a while, you might have already started that. So again, keep doing what you're doing. But if you haven't gotten there yet, I don't want you to start there. I don't want you to start at the deep shadow work stuff, because when we get into that really, really deep stuff, we are sometimes asked to make decisions that alter the rest of our lives, that alter our life as we know it. You know, we're asked to deconstruct, we're asked to decondition, we're asked to question society values. And if you hit a society value or you hit a value that is held really deeply within your current culture, that leads to a lot of paths that can be very, very difficult. And I don't want to ask anybody to start a path before they are ready. So take your time with it. I'm going to start really, really simple, really easy. And next week, we're going to post the next step, and hopefully we'll keep going from there. Take it at your own pace. Just gather the information, have the knowledge stored up, and do it when you're ready. And don't freak out. We're going to get to examples. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. We're going to get there at the end. I'm going to show you the journal prompt that I made for you guys. I'm going to show you an example of like how I would fill it out. We'll get to that at the end. But before I do that, I wanted to share with you why Spirit said we should learn this, because I'm not just going to be like, oh yeah, we can learn that and not ask why. Like, no, why do we need this? Why are we learning it? Why is it coming up now? And here's what Spirit said, and I already actually talked about kind of one of them, which is that human growth and that shadow work portion, right? Like this is that but why question that leads us to these deeper understandings of ourselves. And remember, I am a big believer, let's just say, I very deeply believe that your spiritual journey is in many ways linked to your shadow work and your personal growth journey, because we cannot distinguish between what is ourselves and what is spirit if we don't have an idea of what we sound like. We can't distinguish between what do we believe and what does society believe if we haven't thought about what we actually believe and versus what we've been taught to believe, right? So there's these really big shadow work personal growth concepts that I believe are fully linked into how much energy we are able to hold within our bodies, what we're able to understand in spirit, what we're able to understand from each other. And the more we can understand each other, the more we can kind of empathize and sympathize about what it's like to be a spirit, the more they can show us, right? There's all of these links to it that way. And when a large group of the population starts to do their shadow work, starts to go to therapy, starts to understand these learned behaviors that maybe aren't great, when all of these people start to do these things, we get a really noticeable social change. And we're really seeing that already with this kind of group of millennial parents who are unlearning all of these kind of traumatic parenting behaviors, right? Like we have access to mental health care that was not available to our parents' generation. We have access to information to talk to each other, to understand, well, hey, that's actually kind of traumatic. Well, hey, that's actually kind of abusive. And to say, I don't want to be treated like that. And I don't want my children to get treated like that, right? So we have this group already doing their shadow work, already doing their personal growth, their self-exploration. They're doing the hard things. And it is making this big, huge change in the next generation to come. And guys, it only takes a couple generations to make these massive changes. Imagine what our kids' generation is going to be like. Imagine how they're going to parent and how our grandkids are going to parent, all because of the changes that my generation, that our generation is making now with ourselves and with our own personal growth. And when we have this group of social change happening, when we have this group of people all together deciding that that's not how it's going to be anymore, it leads into political change in a very big and very meaningful way. And so we need to do this not just for our own personal growth, not just for us and ourselves and our family. We do this for the world. We do this for the United States, for us, or wherever you live. We do this to get our political system caught up with the social justices and the social changes that we want. And I just want to clarify, if you are not at a point where you are politically involved or really care about politics at all, that is okay. That is a point that you can get to. That is a point that you can reach. That is not where you need to start. So we start with ourselves. And from ourselves, we find like community. We find people we agree with. We grow a social change. From a social change, we grow a political change. From a political change, we change the world, guys. And maybe your thing is not political change, right? Like I do not put my energy and my effort into political change, right? Like I put it into here, into spiritual practices, into community, into things like that. But I have done so much work. I have done so much inner work and personal understanding and personal growth that I know in my bones what I believe. And when you feel it in your bones, what you believe, it spills over into every other part of your life, because you're no longer kind of just believing whatever you've been told or what you've heard, you're now believing these conclusions that you have come to yourself, that you have taken time to understand about, that you have taken time to explore on your own and really truly formed your own belief on it. So we are not starting out at this place, right? We are starting out with where we believe and where we stand. And from there, we are able to really grow this and make this big movement that so many of us are really, really just begging and screaming and dying for. Right? So we're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for our community. We're doing it for our country, wherever you live. But on top of that, we're doing it spiritually, right? We're doing it for spiritual reasons as well. So when we are switching into this new earth, when we're discovering all of these new things, we have to make really, really strong efforts to not apply what we think we know from how things were before onto the energy and onto what we have right now. We have to really get in this place where we are able to form these new conclusions, these new understandings of not only how things work, but who the spiritual beings are, what we have access to, how the rules work, how the energy works, right? We have to make sure that we are not transferring over the old onto the new. Because wherever you were before, we're done with. We are into this new era now. We have this new energy available to us, and we are going to harness it to make our lives everything that we have ever wanted them to be. Now, I also have a fun little teaser example that Spirit gave as to why we would need this. They said, Rebecca, imagine if a new being appeared to you, stepped into your realm right before your human eyes. We need to also, hypothetically, relearn our reactions to these new things. Especially as an American, because that's where I live, we are taught to fear unknown things quite a lot. The fear mongering, especially in the South where I live, is honest to God outrageous. I've not gotten a political piece of mail that was not fear mongering from either side, from any party, any platform, whatever. Everything that I've gotten is fear mongering. We are taught to fear things that we do not know and we do not understand. And this is also something that we need to unlearn if we're going to be able to interact with literally anybody, even just humans. But if we were to ever interact with beings that were outside of humanity, outside of humans, we need to learn how to react out of a place of how we want to react, not out of this fear reaction that we have been taught, hypothetically, per Spirit. Hypothetically. Right? Like, are we really ready to meet the aliens yet? We got to work on our reactions, guys. We got to work on it. Okay, let's get into the journal prompts. And remember, it's not homework. You are not being graded. You are not being corrected on it. Spirit should not put you in detention if you don't do it. If you have Spirit putting you into a negative circumstance because of not doing this, tell me. I will personally mom Karen it up to that Spirit school, and I will let them know that this is a low pressure, high reward, optional, completely optional journal prompt. I actually made 3 different versions of this paper just to kind of give people a choice for like what vibe they want the journal prompt to be, but they are exactly the same. They have exactly the same questions. They just look different to kind of fit everybody's aesthetic a little bit more. Now remember, this is phase 1, stage 1. We are keeping it very, very simple, very low key. So we're going to call this unconscious conditioning. Why do we do that? So often we do things without thinking about it. Some things we do because that's how they were taught to us, and other things we do because that's how they've always been done. Whatever the reason we do it, sometimes these things can make us feel like we are metaphorically suffocating or drowning without even knowing it. So a lot of women, especially a lot of mothers and wives, can feel all of these things piling up on top of us, and it feels very heavy. It feels like we're suffocating, and we almost cannot understand why we're suffocating. You know, we're trying to make these changes in our life. We're trying to maybe do things we enjoy more, maybe say no to things we don't enjoy, but we still feel like we're suffocating and we can't understand why. A lot of times it's because we have all of this unconscious conditioning that we just pick up over the course of just growing up and living in the society we live in, and we don't understand why it seems so much easier for some people than it does for others. And this unconscious conditioning and just becoming aware of it and deciding if it's like, hey, something that I want to change or not, can make a huge, huge difference, guys. Apply to women. It does not just apply to mothers and wives. It can apply to everybody, but I want to give special notice that understanding and recognizing these small unconscious conditionings can be very, very helpful for neurodivergent people, for people who maybe have ADHD or have executive dysfunction, people that forget to eat or feel like they don't have the energy to complete things, to even get a meal, to get a shower, whatever. It's also, you'll see in my example, I give an example that is focused on my pain levels and how some days my pain is better than others or worse than other days, and why all of this unconscious conditioning coupled with this chronic pain that I have has added to this unrealized burden that I was carrying. And guys, it was heavy. So here is my answers to this journal prompt, and I want to go through them together, and I want to just share with you guys kind of like this journey that I've been on that revolves around doing the dishes and having chronic pain, because it's so more in depth than I ever thought that journey could be. So thankfully now my chronic pain is way better than it used to be. It is very well managed. I'm able to do a lot more activities than I was able to do before. And I have been in chronic pain literally the entire time my husband has known me. And I've literally been in chronic pain the entire time we've been together. And one of the things that we used to get in arguments about was the dishes. And I know that that seems like things that couples argue about often enough, but it wasn't about like I'm doing all the dishes and he's doing none. It was about the way that I was doing the dishes. He was getting really frustrated with me because I was doing the dishes and so many of the dishes that I had washed were still dirty, and he would get so upset, like, why isn't she just doing the dishes correctly? Why is she rushing through? Why won't she just slow down? Why won't she take her time? Right? That's what he's thinking on his side of it. Like, yeah, I get it. From his point of view, he's constantly going to grab a clean dish and it's constantly being dirty, and that can be really frustrating. I get it. However, my thought process was, I have this much time that I'm going to be able to stand before I cross my pain threshold that I can't come back in. So I'm going to do as many dishes as I can in this very, very short of time. And if I have to rewash a dish tomorrow, I would rather rewash what I have to rewash tomorrow, because at least I've gotten the dishes done today. That was my thought process. Even if I'm going fast, at least I got them done. I can fix what I need to fix tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I won't be in so much pain. I'll be able to, take a little bit longer or whatever, right? So I will just fix what I need to fix tomorrow. At least I've gotten it done right now. And so after I explained that to him, he was like, oh, okay. And, we didn't have an issue about it anymore. He would just take the dirty dish and he would just put it back in the sink. But what is wild to me is that it took me, I don't know, almost a decade to realize that I could have just stopped doing the dishes when I hit my pain level. I didn't actually have to finish all of the dishes at once. I could have just stopped. I could have solved all of our problems and simply said, well, this is my limit and I'm going to be done. But I had this unconscious conditioning that I had to do all of the dishes at once. Why do we do that? Why do I believe that I have to do all of the dishes at once? That's a crazy unconscious conditioning that added stress and arguments and fighting to my life. Okay, so let's go through and talk about my answers, because I really want to point out that we are not going deep with this level. This is base level 1. We are not going to go deep. It's very possible, it's very likely that you are going to find something as quote unquote silly, as crazy as, why do I feel like I have to do all the dishes at once, right? Like, that's something stupid. But you're probably going to find some more hidden unconscious things come up as you explore it. And I don't want you to explore those really deep things right now. I want you to get used to just noticing and picking up when it's happening. I want you to notice when you're doing something because of an unconscious conditioning. I don't necessarily want you to really go in and break apart every reason that you do the things that you do. Okay. So I know that my overachiever friends, you're going to want to do that. Please don't. Just keep it base level. You'll see on here, I will say, if you go down to the notes, you see childhood trauma might be involved in deconstructing this one. That's all I want. It might be involved. I don't want to know how it's involved. I don't want you to go into it. I just want you to be aware it might be involved, so that down the line, you can decide if you are in a place that feels safe and comfortable enough and caring enough to really deconstruct and explore these things. I don't want you to start at that really deep place. I want you to just get used to noticing when it's happening and how often it happens. So under why do we do that, we're going to put the thing that we're like, why do we do that? Why do we feel like we have to do all the dishes at once? Why do we do that? Why do we feel like? Before you even start to think about why you do that, I want you to think about, where have you seen it before? I want you to think about other people that do this. Have you seen it on TV? Is it something your parents did? Is it something your partner does? Is it something your friends do, right? How common is this habit? Is it something that you do because of something that happened in your life? Or is it like a society thing that we've learned and that we do? And then from there, you can start to ask yourself, how or why did I personally learn this? So I feel like I have to do all of the dishes at once because when I was a kid and I was told to do a chore, if I didn't finish that chore all of the way, I got yelled at a lot. Like, it was not good. And so that's where the childhood trauma would come into this, is how I was disciplined if I didn't do all of the dishes at once. And again, the goal here is not to jump into those deep, like, childhood traumas and start to like work through and deconstruct them right away. Like, I absolutely should not have been deconstructing my childhood traumas on my own. I absolutely needed a medical mental health professional to help me with that. if you have legit trauma, please, please, please seek medical professional help in really starting to pull that apart, because you can re-traumatize your body. You can send your body into fight or flight and not even realize it. So I just want to stop it there. I don't want to go into all of that. I was yelled at really badly. There's childhood trauma involved. That's it. We're going to end there. We're going to move on to, is it something worth keeping? So here I'm going to kind of just try to feel the benefits and the negatives of it. I'm not deciding if I want to keep this or not right here. I'm not deciding it that I'm going to up and make all my life different off of this paper. No, we're just talking about it. We're just kind of feeling around with it in our brain. We're not making decisions right now. It's very low key, low risk, high reward. When you're ready, no rush, right? We are just playing around with ideas. It's not a serious thing. We're not making life-altering decisions right now. So, is it something worth keeping? It's a good habit to finish a task to its completion, right? Like, it's a good habit that I start the dishes and I finish it. It's a good habit that I start this video and I finish it, right? But on the days when the pain's really bad, it makes me not want to do the dishes at all. It makes it harder for me to actually get up and start the dishes with this idea that I have to finish them. However, if I had this idea that I could just do it until I wasn't able to do it anymore, maybe that would make it easier for me to get up and start the dishes. Knowing that I had control over it, knowing that I can stop when my body tells me I need to stop, knowing I have the ability to listen to my body now, right? Like, maybe it's better. And I'm not making decisions right now. I'm just feeling around in my brain and I'm feeling what it feels like. If you guys hit this point and you feel like it is safe enough to explore more, and you're not going to pull up anything traumatic, and you're not going to re-traumatize your body or your nervous system or anything like that, of course you can kind of play around with it. Try doing half the dishes, see how it feels. But if it hits on things that are a little bit deeper, I would prefer you guys just kind of wait to at least see where we're going with it next. If you guys do hit this point and you're like, hey, that is touching on some traumatic stuff there, it is totally a valid option to save this paper and just wait until you are able to be in a position to talk to a therapist or somebody trained about it. Like, it's totally a thing. Like, hey, I've been trying to do my own self-growth. I've been trying to do my own shadow work. I have some things that maybe aren't the best for me to explore on my own. I have some things that I feel like I need more support on when I, go to explore them. And give your therapist this list. Be like, hey, here's where I'm at. This is what I need help with. The therapist is a doctor for you guys. I tell my therapist all the time what I want to talk about. And like, I'm not talking about that today. I'm not in a place to talk about everything all of the time. And I'm not in a place where I can always be doing everything all of the time. I was seeing my therapist very consistently every other week and then once a month for a couple of years, a couple different therapists. But I was in therapy religiously for a couple of years, and I got to the point where I was like, I need a break. My body needs a break. My mind needs a break. And now I'm in that break period. But I know that I have my amazing therapist waiting for me when I get ready to keep diving in and to keep exploring and to keep learning new things about myself that I didn't consciously know before. So it's totally valid to just wait until you're in a place to deal with them. And this is the perfect way of kind of exploring safe things and being able to pause and have a plan for those things that maybe we need more support with down the line. Of course, I acknowledge that therapy is ridiculously expensive, and the mental health care in this country especially is not where it needs to be. And we do not always have the ability to go seek that mental health professional that we need. So in that case, I always, always, always recommend seeking a mental health professional. However, I do have next stages to this. So if that is not in the cards for you and you really just feel like this is something that you need to add to your toolbox, please at least wait till the next papers are out, and then we can kind of build off of it from there. That way we don't traumatize our nervous system right out of the gate, because that can be guys, it can just set your whole journey back. So please just be so kind and gentle to yourself about it. Like, it is crucial in this, and always seek a mental health professional when available to you. Okay, that is all I have for today. But please let me know how you guys like these journal entries, because I actually have been creating them for a while. I started making these like personalized journals for my friends a few years ago, like before 2020. And I've just been playing around with like page ideas and really getting into some of these things. So let me know if you guys like these journal prompts. Let me know what you wish you had journal prompts on, and maybe we can make it a thing in the future. Oh, and don't forget to buy your Sacred Spaces tickets because, guys, the last one was so amazing. Literally, none of us have shut up about it the whole time. You're going to want to be there this time. Get your tickets now before they run out. And comment once you've got them so that I know how many people from here are going. Maybe I can arrange something fun for us.